Welcome to Jaytalk Raw. And we're live. It was episode 10. Episode 10, man.
Good job.
Right? 10 episodes.
You're not an utter failure. You made it this far.
We're a little behind.
For such an undisciplined human being, I'm actually sort of kind of proud of you. Although some of the feedback we're getting is that, you take too long on podcasts to
take too long.
No, it's me.
Yeah,
it's
no,
me.
no.
It's really.
This is Jaytalk Raw. So you're involved.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. You see the way I help put raw as in, he doesn't really have to be here, but he does. But I kind of like it. So I'm like, it's so much.
I almost called in Fabio when you were gone. I was like, this is I'm going to call. Fabio was on episode 2. Remember that? Because you were gone.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I didn't listen to that one.
Nobody listened to that one. I'm just kidding, Fabio.
Dude, so the last episode, before we get any further, before we get into what we usually get into with current events and all that shit that's going on, the last episode we were talking about about drinking.
Yep.
About your sobriety and stuff.
Yeah, about my questionable life decision.
About you being a degenerate. and to be quite honest with you, I listened to it and I listened to it over a couple of times because of the editing, and I felt like when you get into an argument and you're like, damn, I should have said this. It was like that, but I should have asked this. So I think one of the biggest, because to me it's so foreign. The thought of needing alcohol, right? And all that good stuff. But more than that, what's not foreign to me is the idea of change. I understand change. I understand growth. And I also understand that it's
Do you?
I also understand that it's fucking hard.
You look like you can't look at it. Look, listen, we got cameras
even
now.
When we fucking, I'm talking about
motherfucker's wearing a doggy style shirt. He looks like he came out of the fucking 90s.
That is right, baby. Doggy style. He's just mad because he doesn't have a doggy style.
No,
shirt.
you guys, listen. This is really funny, right? So. We got GoPros, right? And so we were like, oh, we want to record him. So we're both kind of excited about it, right? Listen, it took me approximately 10 seconds, maybe 5, to set up this fucking GoPro. Put it in front of me. You're going to get what you're going to get. Jesse legitimately moved this fucking pole at least 10 to fucking... No, I'm not exaggerating. Okay, I'm exaggerating. Approximately 5 to 9 different poses until he found this one. This last one, he was in front of him, and then
I'm looking at it right now. Still,
he says, "No, hold on, it's not getting my tattoos or my missing hair, so I want to make sure it gets that."
That's fucked up because as I'm looking at it right now, my hairline, my hair is all my forehead.
You have no hairline. It's just a big forehead.
But anyways, so what I was saying was, it's although the idea of being a degenerate is foreign to me.
You know what's so cool? Hold on, one more thing.
Fuck.
Now when I throw things at you, you can see them on video.
You're such a bitch.
Okay, we're talking about
this is what I have to deal with people on all the fucking time. This is my best friend.
Yep.
But I was heading towards a serious conversation.
All right. Talking about stupidity.
How do you stop being a degenerate? Because look, change, when I was talking about change, is becoming better. You have to if you want to become better, you have to do something. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. You got to read books. If you want to work out, you have to actually go do the work. You have to do things to become better. So when you're already at a disadvantage because you're addicted to something and you're down that fucking rabbit hole, and I imagine it feels like you're stuck. How do you pull your fucking self out of there? Or was it people pulled you out of there? Or
fuck, hell no. You couldn't help me.
Nobody, right?
Everybody wanted to. Yeah, it was 100% on me because everybody tried.
And that's just change in general, right?
It really is, because everybody could want to help you. but you gotta walk, right? And it's a lonely road. But you asked something before, and I know that you have short-term memory loss, and so you asked it, and I started thinking about it, which was like the topic of like just addiction, right? Like how does one get addicted to something like that? And I don't know. I don't know if I know like the right answer. What I will tell you is that it was just fun. Like it was just fun to get out of work and drink. And, like, I don't know. I feel like I got like, after a hard day, it was cool to like come home and like have a drink to like ease the pressure of, work, which was stressful. And I had like, I've had, I work a lot, even back then, I've always, worked a shit ton. Right. And so like kind of ease that. And then like everything's funner when you drink, at least for me. And it just became that. Like I was like obsessed with like having a lot of fun and like, like work hard, play hard. Like I bought into beliefs, right? Like that. Like that's a belief. Work hard, play hard. That's a belief. And that belief allowed me to do that. Working hard and like having a beer after work, that was like it's like a Hispanic belief. Like, you work hard and you go home and you get yourself.
Earn this.
Yeah, I earned that, right? Like I earned the right to go home and have a beer, right? And so, part of it is like, it was like what I believed, and like stopping that, it was first truly, I had to change what I believed.
Wow.
See, because here's what I figured out. If I changed what I believed, then it changed what I thought about.
That's crazy to say if you think about it. Crazy. You gotta change what you believe. That's like telling somebody like you gotta stop believing in God.
That's exactly right. And for me, it was the opposite of that, right? But here's what I figured out. If I changed what I believed, then it changed what I thought of. Then it ultimately changed what came out of my mouth. It changed the words that I vocalized. And then when it changed the words that I vocalized, it changed what I did. And then then it started changing what I did, which started changing like habits. It started changing the habits, right? I stopped doing certain things and I started doing other things. And then those things were habits, right? It's like a pattern, right? A pattern of doing the same thing over and over. It formed habits. Some of them were good habits and some of them were bad habits, right? But what I stopped doing is I stopped having bad habits because I started having good, positive thoughts. I started changing the way I believe from a poor person to like, I was like, okay, how do rich people think? And I swear to God, like how do happy people think? And I really legitimately took a deep dive into figure out how they think. And one of the first things I discovered is I was sowing, like they say, like you reap what you sow, right? I was sowing, like I was sowing seeds of negativity, like drinking the night before, like a big meeting, instead of working my ass off to prepare, that was sowing seeds of negativity. Eating a shit ton of all the things that I really, really like a super burrito from El Gavilan that we just went to.
Fuck.
That's sowing seeds of negativity. Me being like my brutally meanest to you, those are seeds of negativity instead of lifting you up. My selfishness, and I'm very selfish, those are seeds of negativity, right? And so what I did is I started thinking differently. I started like trying to understand how different people thought. And then I started thinking like them. And then that allowed me to start to sow seeds of positivity. And that changed everything because all of a sudden I stopped drinking because I was forced to stop drinking. Like I got, the story, right? I got drunk so drunk. I walked in the AA that next day and then I asked for help. And all of a sudden it was like people came out of the woodwork. You know what's crazy? The hardest part is you just deciding to stop doing bad behavior. And when you stop doing that, it's the fucking craziest thing. Like you have people in your world right now that if you stop doing the thing that you know right now, whether it's you, Jesse, or whether it's somebody listening, if you just stop doing the thing that you know is hurting you, you know what'll happen? Somebody in your world will notice and say, He's not doing that anymore. And they'll reach out to you and they'll help you, especially if you make it public.
Did you have any of the opposite, like where people knew you weren't doing this and they were trying to get you to do it? And then also another question that I have for you before I forget it, because as you're saying this, did you have, as you were changing these habits because you want to change, eating excessively, drinking, the way you were spending your money, all these bad things, when you were changing these, did you ever have like indicators that would, or like these things that would pop up in your life that, traditionally before it was like, okay, this is happening, so now I'm going to go drink. And when those things happen, how did you curb them? Like, was that a hard part of changing the habit?
The first part of your question, about like,
because you were in
friends.
that world.
I was in the world. I was deep into the world of drinking. Like, I went to all the craft breweries. I knew all the owners because I had my own restaurant, so they knew me. I bought from them. And so it was like, not only did I go to, like brewery spots, but like I knew them well. And even all my friends were drinkers, and they're still, and they're good people. These are great, fun people that I love to death.
I always felt, I'll be honest, sorry to cut you off. When you first stopped drinking, we used to still hang out, all of us, on nothing really changed. You just stopped drinking.
Yeah.
And I always felt like there was a pressure to not drink around you because I wanted to be a good friend. And I also saw like friends that have been friends longer than what I've been friends. And they were like harsh on you. They were like, you're a bitch. Like, you know, like you're a little bit, you can't fucking like just have a good time. And that, again, I learned from that because I also noticed that like, okay, like these are friends who are gonna fuck with you. They're just gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
But
they really, like, they didn't mean ill, and I'm still friends with those people. You. But that was it right there. You just nailed it. They miss me, and that wasn't fucked malicious. Up on their part. Yeah, it wasn't malicious. It was just that they just missed me, and like they were losing me, and they knew they were. They knew that I was about to go down a different road, and there was nothing. Like, look, at that point, my mom was made up, and I was just going to do this for me, and like like that's the part. This is the part. This is the hardest part. Deciding and then sticking to your guns is truly the hardest part, right? Like disciplining yourself to do the hardest part. And then what was the second thing that you asked me?
The like key indicators, like there must have been things that popped up in your life or like just a regular day, like before you stopped drinking, there must have been things like, let's say from like, I smoke weed. So there are certain things that like, I get home, just do my kids thing. Once it gets dark and like kids in the room, it's like I want to go to the balcony and smoke weed and chill, like to watch Netflix.
Oh yeah.
So were there like indicate like certain things that were like signals, triggers? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Were there triggers?
I have to translate your dumbness.
I don't know addiction.
No, listen, it's not even. That's just. It's called the fucking Merriam-Webster vocabulary. But
I was just clowning the homie Ed because he hit me with a big word the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then he was like, "Yeah, you didn't read the dictionary." I was like, "I didn't do 11 years, dick. I didn't have time to get through the dictionary."
Listen, some people actually pay attention in school. I didn't, but I'm forced to learn. Yeah, I'm forced to learn now. But I did have triggers. Like imagine. I mean, okay, it's a funny thing that happened, right? So. I was probably like 35 days in, right? And I call my sponsor and I'm like, "Hey, dude, like, bro, I had a bad day and I wasn't going to drink, but I just need him to walk me through this, right? Because I was feeling something I'd never felt."
Oh, the anxiety.
And
that's the anxiety
did I tell that story?
Yeah, you're already telling stories already.
And
sorry,
like,
it's fucking audience.
Sorry. So, but like that, like right there, like that thing and him laughing at me and telling me, "Bro, that's normal. That's what big boys and big girls have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. They don't drink their problems away." Like that was a trigger. And that happened a lot. Like coming home, even like on not a super bad day, just on a bad day, bro. Like I just want to do that. Or so the day after so I stopped drinking July 3rd. July 4th is the next day.
Right, 4th of July.
I hadn't been sober on a 4th of July in fucking years.
And were you going to Gabriel's?
Yeah. Oh, so I shut up. So it was terrible.
And for everybody who doesn't know, Gabriel throws a fucking party.
Yeah.
A hell of a party in Whittier. Where he does a phenomenal fireworks show. Where he
spends like $4,000.
He set a fucking palm tree on fire one year. Famous for that. But there's a lot of alcohol.
Right, there's a lot of alcohol.
And this is your first day.
First day, so.
Did you think like, I'll start tomorrow? Did it ever cross your mind?
I was so fucked up at that point. I was like, there's no way. And then you got to think, we used to go to multiple, like football was my sport, go to multiple. I remember the first time, I believe it was the first time we went to a football game sober was that Oakland Cowboy game. Yeah. That's the year that I stopped drinking.
You were fucking mad.
And I was mad.
You were fucking
and I was, you know what though?
Dude.
I discovered that day. I was grumpy because we lost, but I wasn't grumpy. I would have been grumpy if sober. I would have probably punched you if I was drunk.
You think so?
No, absolutely not.
No, but you think you would have been more of a dick?
Nah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But either way, it wasn't for that reason. What I discovered though, because I'll tell you that we had a blast. Like we had the time of our lives before that game. Like we were laughing. I was yelling at Cowboy fans.
You were yelling at the Cowboys.
I was, I was my same obnoxious, funny, like crazy self sober. And like that day, although it was hard because we tailgated for hours.
Yeah, the whole morning.
Although that part was hard, I really did discover like, oh, I could totally have a great time. I remember thinking that during the game, like, dude, I'm totally fun without alcohol. I really.
You know what's funny is that right now, as you're saying this, bro, I didn't even because then it's me. I don't drink, so there wasn't no like that. I don't think I noticed it.
Yeah,
because I don't drink. Like it wasn't like, oh, let's drink. You're no fun because we're not drinking.
Yeah,
it was more like. I was just there for a good time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a little foreign to me where it's like, how does it grab you by the balls? Which is crazy. But what's more interesting is how to come out of it. So then
I started sowing seeds of like real, like, listen, this sounds so corny, but like really, like I started being like, okay, I was always the guy that would like take 2 steps forward and like 3 steps backward. Like I would do something really good and then like I would fuck it up and then I would go backwards. So I was like, no more of that. Like no more sowing seeds of negativity. It's all positivity. I'm all doing nothing but good things. I'm a fucking fly straight, do everything right because it couldn't have just been the beer. I wasn't just going to stop drinking beer. So I was like, all right, I'm tired of being a fat fuck. So I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start walking. I remember when I bought a bike. I bought a bike on OfferUp. I love OfferUp. But a bike on OfferUp, a road bike on OfferUp for $500. And I remember riding it for the first time. Dude, it's embarrassing to tell you, I couldn't even finish a mile. I was so fucking repulsive. I couldn't even finish a mile. But I just started. I just started on that stupid bike, And then I couldn't save $1 to save my life. So I started saving money. I put a little piggy bank in my fucking thing and just filled that shit up and started living a little bit less, than what I could have lived. It was just a decision. Like I didn't wait to have a lot of money to be better with money. I told you one thing not that long ago. I was like, I want to be a philanthropist and I want to give away money. And like, even now, I'm not telling you I'm a philanthropist. I'm not, nowhere near, but I'm a lot more generous than I've ever been in my fucking life. And it's like, I'm not saying this for any credit. I'm just saying like, I was never generous. I was so selfish that I was like, fuck everybody. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And I was like, no, like I wanted to be a generous person. So I started sowing seeds of generosity to people. It's like if I'm going to save a little bit of money, like there's something very special about giving it to somebody that really needed it, and that made me happier, but the thing I think that like really like helped me the most were 3 things. One was I learned discipline, and I always lacked discipline. And I always look at people and I'd be like, dude, like you have so much willpower and you have so much discipline. I would look up to people like that. And so I learned like I watch every freaking YouTube video on discipline, on willpower. I watched everything I could to learn about like how Navy SEALs did it and how like Jocko and, and Goggins and like, dude, like I just like dove into that mentality again to change the way that I believe, because I knew that if I was going to become sober for a long time, I needed to be disciplined. And so like, I really like understood what was fundamentally different about people that were disciplined versus people that were not disciplined, and how they live their lives and how I live my life.
Would you agree though that like there's something like discipline can be taught? Absolutely.
100%.
But do you think that there is something about guys like Goggins? Because I follow him on Instagram.
What was Goggins before? He's a spray roaches.
Yeah, but he's also, wasn't he like a Navy SEAL?
Before he became, so here's Goggins' story. Goggins was a fat freak of a person. He weighed like 320 pounds. He was, he would spray for roaches at Terminix. I don't know if it was Terminix, but it was one of those companies, right? He never released a name, but he was spraying for roaches. He was at home eating ice cream, and he watched the Navy SEAL documentary, and he decided right then and there he wanted to become a Navy SEAL. He lost 100 pounds in 3 months, something stupid like that. And it was that decision right there. He was never disciplined. He was the opposite of discipline. He said, I wasn't a disciplined person. He became that by training his mind how to become that. So I do not think that they were built different. I don't, not at all. Not at all. No. They're just me and you. But it's just, in going through that journey, I learned that, I get it. And I'm not telling you that I'm there. I'm obviously no David Goggins, but I'm telling you that I've adopted a lot of, that kind of mentality,
Where'd that come from though? Why? Like, was there a moment you remember like, I was like, okay, I want to quit drinking, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Like, how'd you get the vision?
That was important right there. Before I tell you the vision part, because that was like the game changer. Before I tell you that, I'll tell you that I also had to cut out junk out of my life. And when I mean junk is, well, sure, it was alcohol and it was food, but it was also people. And like, I had to start all over. I had to start all over with a new group of people in my life. And and it's probably unfair to say junk because I love some of those people, but like I had to take out the low quality people out of my life and say, you know what, I'm going to start all over again. And I'm just going to like only high quality people. Like I was like Drake, no new friends except if they're dope, except if they're dope. And then the last thing is like, I just said, okay, so I'm going to learn. So I'm going to learn everything there is about like how great people live. And you know what I figured out? Great people set a vision for what they want to do with their life. They set goals. They're goal setters. And then they go after their goals with a furious fucking passion. And that's what I did. You know what I decided to do? I was like, I heard somebody say, the difference between us and like a dog or like a bird or this? See, a bird is going to be nothing but a bird. They're going to die a bird. A dog will die a dog, and a lion will die a lion. That's all they're going to be. But we get to be anything that we want to be. And so I literally designed myself. I put a stupid I would always hear about these vision boards and people doing them, but like I literally wrote a vision board, dude. I wrote it out. Like I even put like what my credit score was going to be, what my personality was going to be, everything. There was nothing on there that I left out.
You know what's funny is that when you say you start a stupid vision board, you know who doesn't work for it? People who don't believe in the fucking vision board from the very get-go. Like, you can't buy a vision board and expect it to work if you're going to think it's a stupid fucking vision board.
And that's exactly what it's what you believe. And forever I believed, like a vision board is going to change my life. Of course it is. It was so dumb to me, right? Like, of course, right.
And because you knew better.
Because I knew better. I'm in charge of my life and I'm the man and I don't need God and I don't need a dumb vision board to help me, be everything that I'm going to be. But I'm telling you, when I wrote it down, and then I got really good at making a vision board. Now I use Canva to make a vision board, and I'll make it every 3 years, and I'll say, this is who I'm going to be in 3 years. And like, that's my hero. Like, that's who I'm trying to strive to be. I'm trying to be me in 3 years from now, because in 3 years, this guy has this and this guy has that. And I'll tell you that original vision board, I achieved almost everything on that vision board.
Really?
There was a couple things that I thought were going to be easier, and they turned out to be a lot harder, and they're still there, and I haven't achieved them. But there's only
one?
2.
Can you tell us one that you haven't achieved?
When I had the pizza place, we were audited by Board of Equalization, and I owe $100,000 in back taxes. That's taking a lot longer.
I didn't think you were going to come with that one, dog. I was like,
I don't care. But,
all right.
But that one right there took a lot longer. My credit score is just shy of 800. My weight, it went down. Now it's up a little, creeping up a little bit. Everything, my family, my job, like I exceeded what I thought I could make financially. I was like, oh, I'm going to make this much. And I thought like, wow, what a big number. And now like I didn't think like this was possible. I really didn't.
I went to this, I don't know what you would call it. I know it's famous. It's compared to like a, what do you call those, like chain thingies, or like even like a cult? But I forget what it is. But listen, it was.
Motherfucker needs to pick up a Merriam-Webster. He doesn't.
I told you about it. It was in downtown LA, and they get you, and they tell you like.
What did they do? Tell me.
No, listen. They're gonna teach you how to communicate, and you have
need to go to one of those.
No, and you have to pay for these classes, like, and different people will go there. Like I went with like, this guy who was my client, but he was going because he wanted to figure out how to communicate with his spouse better. Like,
Toastmasters?
Ghostbusters.
Toastmasters.
No, it wasn't that. And it was in downtown. It was a nice building. And then there was people that were doing sales that wanted to grow their business. They wanted to learn how to communicate better. But what they were saying is that they said 2 things I took away from it. They said, there are things out there that you don't know.
Yeah.
So how can you figure them out if you don't know that they're there? And they're like, the only way you can find these things is if somebody's putting you onto, you're coached onto them, you go and find these fucking books on your own. But how do you know what you're looking for if you don't know that they're there?
That's right.
And then they said, it's like you're in front of a wall, and just over the other side is everything prosperous.
Yep.
And you have your hands on the wall, but you just can't pull yourself up to look over.
Yep.
And they said, that's what we're going to do for you.
Yep.
We're gonna show you the other side of the wall. My ghetto ass took everything that everything that I learned that day, and like I took a little bunch of literature, and I was like, I'll figure this shit out without paying the $800. But what I took away from it was that. And then again, I've been lucky to have people like you in my life, and I've had family members in my life that's gone through addiction, and not everyone has gone through it as successfully as you, but you also get to learn from those experiences as well. Like when you tell me about your sobriety, like, bro, I've seen what could have been. Like, you could have ended up getting caught up on some bullshit, doing 6 years in jail, and then having to learn the hard way.
You know what I learned though about addiction is like, everybody's addiction is different. Mine happened to be alcohol, but like yours could be
Crack.
It could be drugs, right? But like, that's just still in that like really severe category. But I'll tell you about like even such non-severe categories. Porn. That's a mind fuck. Porn will fuck you up.
After real quick, after like our first 3 episodes, our wives are convinced that we're addicted.
That we're addicted to porn. We're not.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Video games, laziness, like complacency.
I was about to say that.
Food.
You know what's another one?
Like
being a bad parent. And what I mean,
being a lazy partying, being a lazy parent. Like you don't get it. Like
excess.
And that's right. Gluttony, right? Like you don't get like, if you take away and you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this fucking loser.
Somebody's taking a rail. I got this under control.
Yeah, right. Like you're missing the point. We all are struggling with something. Every soul. I'm going to tell you something. I'm around really successful people, and every soul that I've ever met is struggling with something in life. And the best of us find a way to conquer ourselves, to conquer our worst selves, and, but like But before you even get to a point where you conquer yourself, like the first thing you got to do is like say what you want. And like one of the things that I said was like, okay, I want to be a good person. So I had to define what a good person is. We did this like values, like what are your core values? Like what define you? Mm-hmm. And if I asked you that, I don't know if you would have an answer to that. Like what are 3 words that define you?
Loyalty, love,
and maybe, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but like I put a lot of thought into my 3.
That third one's a hard one because it's the last one you get to use. And
mine are like, in the way that you like describe your core values are like, okay, look at trees, right? Look at the sequoia trees, right? They're so big and thick. And how big are their roots? They're deep as shit, right? So do you think that in a storm that sequoia trees going to fall? No, that shit's lasted thousands and thousands of years. But what about that tree in front of your little neighborhood that just got planted? Its little thing and it's being held up by a little pole, right? Mm-hmm. Like to see it grow. You think in that same storm that tree's going to fall over? Of course it is. Why? It's not because the tree's so little. It's because it has no roots. And your core values as a person are like your roots. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to survive the next 5 years, because I'm writing this when I'm sober, right? I'm like, okay, I got to have a set of core values that in hard times or in good times, I'm going to look to these and I'm going to say, this is who Raul is. If I die tomorrow, this is what I want to be known for. And mine were gratitude. I'm going to live my life just happy that I'm alive and that I'm happy that I'm here. Just grateful for where I am right now. Not for what I don't have or what I'm missing or what I fucked up. Just happy just be grateful, right? And so every day I wake up and I have a reminder on my phone that tells me, name a couple things that you're grateful for. And so I wake up with gratitude every day.
Every morning, sir.
Every morning in my life, I pray and I say what I'm grateful for. I don't ask for anything. I just say, God, thank you for blah, 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 blah. And I just wake up fired up and I'm excited that I'm alive. 2 is that I'm going to be excellent in everything that I did. And I'm going to go hard at everything. And that's, you've talked about that, right? About like that, but that's a decision. Like I'm going to go hard at everything that I do, whether it's the podcast or whether it's anything. I don't care. I'm just going to give it my heart, my soul, everything I got.
I don't think that one's conscious, by the way. I think that one's just you.
Yeah, it is part of me, but it was also a decision to say like, okay,
I think you mean like go hard on good things.
That's part of, yes, it's true. It is partly to go good at good things, yes. But it's to be excellent. But see, that's different than just go hard. You're talking about just going hard. I went hard at all things, including bad things. Still. But being excellent is going hard at good things, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was that part.
And then being, not just going hard, but being very, very, doing it at the best quality.
At the best quality I could. A commitment to excellence. Raiders, baby, right? And the last part was... It was do it with integrity, right?
I'm so glad the camera gets to see me roll my fucking eyes at you.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed as well? You're less reckless.
Yeah.
Before we used to get in the car, today you picked me up in a convertible Mustang. Okay. When you had the Honda, you used to pick me up and we couldn't get a fucking block without you like hauling ass. We couldn't even be in the company car, the Camry, because there's that famous story I have of you just hauling ass down Randolph, bumping Tupac, and then we used to get in the car with like all our, like my kids, your kids, and the maybe not my kids. Who was it? Was it your kids? And who else? Who was the third kid? I forget who it was.
Some little Mexican kid we picked up.
Somebody, but we'd fucking go to the canyon, remember? And you'd like, you'd hit those turns fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and I noticed that you've like.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Cause like, I don't want to go to jail, dude. Like, it's like, I work too hard to take a step back. Remember I told you, like, no steps backward. Like I'm down to like, I played around a little bit. Right. But like, I could have done a lot more.
Nowhere near we used
right.
to do.
But like, so you can still have fun, but I'm not going to be reckless. I'm not taking a step back. I'm not getting a $300 ticket in fucking Downeyville. Like, sorry.
This is for the
no
next.
No offense to the Downey people.
For next episode, where there's a story I love. You told me one time a long time ago. I'm not going to have to clear it with you off air. But it was a story about you and a buddy in a car. And then.
Okay, I'll tell you the story. It's actually a really good one.
Neutral, the warehouses?
Yeah, I'll tell you a good one. Sorry.
Yeah.
So this is a true story. I'm on Slauson And I used to live in Huntington Park, and then my girl lived in Pico, so I was always going back. Actually, all my friends lived in Pico, Montebello. I grew up in Huntington Park, and then I ended up moving to Montebello, and then I got kicked out of my mom's house. And so this is like, I got kicked out of my mom's house, out of Montebello, ended up going back to my dad's house in Huntington Park. So I lived in Huntington Park, but all my friends, all my life was in Montebello, Pico, right? So I was coming back from Pico, Montebello, and I was coming down Slauson. It had to be, and it was with my boy Gabe. We talked about him, the firework guy, right? So we pass Eastern, and we're going into Maywood, right? And you pass that little bridge, and Maywood at the time was so corrupt, right? And I'm not saying that they were corrupt because of what just happened, but they were just a corrupt city, so they're always looking for money. They were always doing, if you guys remember that time, this must have been like early 2000s, they were always doing checkpoints, and they were always busting immigrants. You know, this became a big controversy, right? They would always take their cars. In Mexico. Yep. And it was just like this big fucking controversy, right?
The police department got shut down, taken away. Maywood is the first city in the country to outsource all of its city services because of the corruption.
Yep. So I feel like I could tell the story and be fairly safe, right? So I crossed the bridge into Maywood, and right when you cross the bridge, they were smart, and it's right at the checkpoint, right? So I didn't have a license at the time. I was riding dirty, right? And so at that second, I just did it. I decided at that second, I'm going to bust a U-turn, and I bust a B.
They're going to come.
And they're coming because they're all lined up right there. They got motorcycle cops. They got everything, right?
And they have cops designated for people that get out of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bust a U-turn.
Yeah, they're set up, right? Like if you go to any checkpoint, that's the way they do it, right? So I bust the U-turn, and I gun it. And at the time, I had a souped up, raced out Toyota Corolla, right? So I hit everything that little car had to offer. Now I'm heading eastbound on Slauson, headed towards back to Eastern. I make a right on Eastern, left on right past the railroad. I will never forget. I never forget because that's where Randall Foods is at. Yeah. Made a left, went past there, and then after that, I don't remember exactly my route, but I went left, right, and I can hear. I could see the cops when I made a right onto Eastern. I saw the cop already cresting over the hill.
Yep.
I made a right. I knew that I had distance on him, and my car could move. Made a left, and I couldn't see the cop, but he knew that I made a right, so he made a right too, and I could hear him. Woo, 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 woo.
And for people who are not familiar with the area, this is like heavy industrial.
Oh yeah, it's heavy, like all warehouses, right? So now I'm going, 80, 90 miles an hour, cutting through warehouses, full on blast, and I made enough turns where I can go miles. Now I'm heading into Commerce, and then I see the cop. And then my boy Gabriel is looking up at the cop at the helicopter.
No, there's a chopper.
Oh, there's a chopper above us, right? And the light, he didn't know. I know that they didn't know where we were. They didn't know where we were because the light flashed in front of us like it was looking for us, right?
What color was your car?
Black.
Nice.
Was murdered out. So Gabriel's like, turn off your lights, turn off my lights. And now I'm jamming
in the dark,
right? And because it's late, right? And so all there is city streets, and I'm jamming down, woo, and I can hear the sirens of the cops, and I can hear I can hear the helicopter, and I can see the light looking for a car.
If they stop you, you're catching an ass whip.
I got you an ass whip. It's Maywood PD. Yeah, we're scared as fuck. We're trying to get into commerce, so it could be under. Anyways, we're thinking stupid things, right? So Gabriel says, "Stop." I stop, and he says, "Back up, back up, back up." And he saw something. We go into this warehouse area, and it was crazy. It was around, I don't know how he saw it, but it was you went around, so you couldn't see it from the street, but you could see it from the street. And it was how when you the 18-wheelers, it was a loading dock.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So it dips down.
It dips down.
Because they're so high that in order to line up with the loading dock, it has to dip down so the truck could line the trailer back.
That's exactly. And it had a canopy on top. to like a metal, like
they had been unloading that day for sure.
No, it was like, it was there. It was like part of like, it's like for shade, like for the guys that are unloading, right? So it was like this shade piece. But what it did for us is that it was deep enough. It was deep enough that you couldn't see the car from the street. And then it had cover for the helicopter. And we parked there and stood there for 5-6 hours till about 4 o'clock in the morning, until there was no more sirens. There was no more cop above. And I legitimately got away.
How long did you guys hear the chopper around?
Not that, you know what's funny? It wasn't that long. Like, we probably, honestly, we could have left a long time ago.
But you guys were like, fuck this. In all honesty, though, they're probably, you and I both know this. Cops do this all the time. What that cop probably did is he probably found the street that he thought you guys hit on and parked with his lights off and just chilled. And was like, if they come out, then I got them. If they don't, I'll chill here till my shift is over.
And I was like, I made a bet that like there was a shift change at some point. And I usually think it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I knew that there was going to, that was the calculus, right? Like, we weren't that dumb, but we were dumb. But like, the calculus was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, they're going to give up. And, you know, we just drove home after that.
Damn. That shit is fucking, dude, that's some time. That is some time and an ass whooping, because Maywood Police Department was so bad.
So bad.
I have you think we have time for another Maywood Police Department story?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I know I've never told this story. I think I've told you this story. I'm not sure. So my entire family lived in Maywood, and we lived in different sections of Maywood. And so there's a party going on, and my uncles are at this party, which is my aunt's house. So they're all over there. So my grandfather, my mom, my grandmother, they're all going to pick up my uncle from this house. And they show up, and like you said, Maywood Police Department, it was corrupt. So the cops come, and one of the cops handcuffs one of my cousins and starts beating the shit out of him. Like, beating him was he handcuffed. So the family gets around and they start like, stop. His brother runs up and pushes the cop off of him. So my cousin gets up, handcuffed, runs and hops a fence, handcuffed with his hands behind his back, launches over the fence. At this point, if you know the area, this is on Maywood Avenue, which is the street just after Downey Road. Now there's warehouses, but there used to be more apartments there. So when he hops over that wall, he hits Downey Road. Now he's gone. He's into Vernon through the warehouses. He's not going to get caught. So this cop now is he's gonna fight my family, right? So my cousins and like my uncles, like two of my uncles, my cousins, this cop, you know, he's squaring up on them, and my grandmother, because she gets panicked, like my grandfather, they're about to hit one of his kids. He clocks the cop. Bam.
Oh my God.
My grandmother, scared because she's gonna hit my grandfather, hits the cop with the mug. Bam, full of coffee. Now other cops are showing up, and my family is like lining up to fight the other cops showing up. So they grab the initial cop and like drag his ass to the backyard. And you didn't know this was gonna get this intense, huh? So allegedly, right? The cop fell, bro. He like fell in the backyard and he broke a bunch of bones. And there was like a full on.
No.
He broke like 20 something bones. And, you know, I can talk about it now because it's a case closed. Maybe police department doesn't exist anymore. But what happened was, in all honesty, like two of my uncles and like two of my cousins beat the shit out of this cop, right? So they take my whole entire family to jail. My grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, my uncles, like everybody. Like we had to have family come from Texas because everybody here is locked up.
Wow.
So they're in jail, and the men of the family are talking amongst themselves. Like, this is serious. One of my cousins, who to this day, like, biggest balls. He looks at my grandfather, his uncles, which are my uncles, his brother, a couple other people, and he's like, listen, it's ridiculous for all of us, for you to do 10 years, for you to do 10 years, for you to do 10 years. I did it. When the cops come, it was me. You guys tried to stop me. I beat the shit out of the cop.
No.
So the cops come and they're like, okay, what's up? You know, because the cops gave you an opportunity. And my cousin's response is like, where's that pussy at? Where's that pussy at?
No way.
So they go to court. Sure enough, in court, he does the same thing. They're like, you know, it comes time to like, they're in court and the cop's there with like a cast, you know.
I'm a cop.
Wired fucking.
I'm a cop guy too.
And he's like,
it's no good.
And he's like, you know, he's there in the court and the prosecutor's like trying to say like, you know, there's more people involved. My cousin gets up and is like, I beat the shit out of that pussy. I beat his ass again. But then the second time he came back to court, he was unrecognizable. Like
who was? Oh, the guy?
Your cousin? Yeah. He was like, his eyes were swollen. He was like constantly catching ass whippings from the cops. His cat's constantly like getting dropped into like other race areas where where Hispanics are not supposed to be in. He was like getting food skipped, you know, like not, you know, yard, solitary, all that. Like he just got out. He did like 20 years.
No.
He did like 20 years for that. Maywood Police Department. And so after that, the cops would come to our driveway and they would like burn out. They would like follow, you know, to like school. They would like stop you and like stop us and be like, Madrid, huh? Oh, right. You know, they're like, are you related to Frank? Are you related to so-and-so? And then it'd be like, no.
Wow.
It was so bad. My uncle's son is the same name as him. And he would catch shit because I guess they would type his name into the thing.
Oh my God.
And he was flagged, I guess, but it would like pop up and he would catch shit. Up until this day, I bullshit you not. Like sometimes I would get stopped and I'll get searched. Like I'm not a criminal. I have no criminal record. I'm like, but I'll get searched once in a while. But when Maywood Department was around, it was really bad. It was really bad.
Wow.
That's a story, huh?
Wow. I feel like just a decent fella here.
I felt like
your family's fucked up.
No, you know what? It's funny is that I thought growing up, I just thought like, oh, like everybody's family has each other's back like that, right? Like everybody's cousin would beat up a cop for everybody else, right? But
see, that's another thing that I stopped doing. I stopped being. What is Dave Chappelle's skit? When getting real goes bad, or
when getting real goes bad. I want to ask you something, and I don't even know if I should. There was a guy we knew. I don't think he listens to the podcast, and if you do, I'm sorry. I love you, bro. You were very nice to me. I'm not talking shit to you. I really like you, but there was a fight that happened. And when I met this cat, you're like, fucking guy, like showed me a picture of him holding a big old machine gun in like Iraq. He was a soldier, you know? And then you guys get down outside of a liquor store in Whittier and he got like his shirt pulled over his head or some shit. And ever since then, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I really like him, bro, still to this day, but I cannot get over that. Like I was just talking to my wife about this like yesterday, and I was telling her like, fuck, I was like, Raul called me, but it was like too fucking late. Like it already had happened. What the fuck was I supposed to do? Get down there? And the reason I bring it up is because like you talk about like family like that, right? But because that's what I'm used to. It's like if you get jumped, you fucking call me, or like you call my family. I've gotten jumped, and I've called my uncles. I don't call like the cops. I've called my uncles, and they'll come down.
Can I tell you what I did after I got beat up by a gang of cholos?
What?
You know what I did?
What'd you do?
I called the cops.
Did you really?
Yes, I called the cops, and I was like, "Look, this is what happened." You know, like, I listen again. gotta make a decision at some point to say, like, I'm not living that.
What are the cops gonna do when you get your ass?
But it doesn't matter. It's just like I wasn't gonna. These guys. What happened was we were leaving 7-Eleven. Last call. It was 1:54 in the morning. We got the last 2 12-packs. We were still drinking at the time. As the last 2 12-packs. Or I think I might have stopped drinking. But either way, we had the last 2 12-packs from my family. I believe I had stopped. Either way, I'm leaving 2 12-packs, right? I have one. This guy, this military dude had the other ones, right? So the cholos I'm cool with, right? Like I'm pretty cool with, and I know how to read them. Like they were mad because by the time they tried to buy the beer, it was 2:00.
You used to be them, bro.
I was never them, but I understand what you mean.
As we're talking about this, you said I'm gonna post a picture of you and Monique.
That does not mean I was a gang member. It just means I grew up in Southside Montebello. So
you were like those girls that dress up. And it's like, but don't. Where are you?
So they weren't
objectifying me.
They weren't fucking with me. They were actually. I was about to like give them a few beers. Like I felt bad for them. Like, dude, you know what? I'll hook you up with a couple beers. Like, no problem, right? So I'm kind of smoothing it over outside. But inside, this military dude they kind of play with him and kind of like not choke him out, but like play with him, like put him in a chokehold kind of thing, and like noogie his head, right? And I know that's very disrespectful, right? But either way, he could handle it.
Choose your battles, bro.
Choose your battles, right? So I'm talking to them outside, and I'm kind of calming the whole situation down. Look, guys, you want to buy a 12-pack off of me? Whatever, let's split it. Just buy it off me, right? And as I'm talking to them, trying to come up with, a compromise, he gets the 12-pack and slams it on like the chief cholo's head, slams it, bam, all the bottles. Like one of them breaks on his face, the rest go scattered, and now I have no choice but the fight, and we are in a full-blown fight. I'm dodging freaking blows from my left and my right. This guy's coming here. One guy comes from like a nunchuck karate chuck. What the? And I'm like, I move, boom. My sister gets in it. She gets knocked out. Oh man, then I got pissed off, and now I'm fighting a guy. And now, so the military dude, he gets knocked out. He's out of the fight. Now I got 5-6 guys on me.
Didn't he get his shirt pulled over his head?
He got shirt pulled over his head, got punched in the face. Then he gets knocked out. Then now it's me against 4 or 5 guys. And you know what I did? I went into survival mode. I covered my head, covered my body parts, and then just let him wail on me for,
5 guys?
5 guys wailing him at the same time, kicking me, the whole thing.
I gotta say this.
I never lost consciousness. I never,
Not that I'm defending the cholos, but they listen.
We defied their honor.
No, you got to do something to catch an ass whipping like that from cholos. Yeah. You got to do something, and I think
are cool, man.
Yeah, like cholos are cool, bro. They're not. Bro, they didn't go out there to fuck somebody up. They weren't,
dude. Like they were just like they
were probably like coked up and needed some beer.
Yeah, bro. Like I understand who you are. It's all good, bro. Like. You guys are kings around here. Like I would have, listen. Out of principle, I would have just been like, "Dude, give me $20 for this 12-pack. Just give me my money back." But if they wanted to jack me for a 12-pack, go for it. Fuck it. Like
I think if they wanted to jack you, they would have tried jacking you instead of fucking you.
Yeah, but we were talking, dude, and I'm telling you, them off. While I'm talking to the head honcho, I just see the big old green Dos Equis, thing slam him in the face, and I'm like, son of a.
It slammed the guy you're talking to
in the face, bro.
Who threw it? The military guy?
The military guy with both hands slams it across his face.
He made an executive decision.
Didn't consult with me. And then my sisters are both in the car and they run out.
Which is the worst thing to do.
He should just let us get an ass kicking.
Right. It's funny that when me and my wife talked about it, number one, we discussed that where she was like, she knows the rules. Like if we're going to get in a fight, I don't need to worry about you as well. Just stay away and let me fight. Number two, she was like, bro, she's like, if you get your shirt pulled over your head and I get punched, she's like, it's over right there. Like, she's like, yeah, don't call me tomorrow.
You big snitch.
Anyways, moving on. Thank you. That's thank you for your service. But dude, Trump got raided. Trump got raided, and they're saying it's because he took things that were classified, and then his camp is saying that he declassified them, but now they're saying that there are certain things that are just you cannot declassify. For example, the information on spies overseas and how they work, and they're saying that there is that is what he took that is pertaining to spies overseas. So, I mean, I don't want to dive deep down to conspiracy too deep, because that whole like, oh, is he trying to sell it? I don't think so.
Because I don't know, and I don't like conspiracies because I don't want to talk about anything that I don't know for sure. With that said, he is all the Trumpers, all the Trumpies talk about, oh, what has he done? Right? Like what has he done that's been criminal? This is officially criminal. He literally got caught red-handed. He will be charged. I think charges are imminent. He will absolutely be charged for this. There is no way. I'm going to tell you something. There is no way that the FBI director and that judge authorizes this, and then nothing happens. Are you fucking kidding me? You think that they're going to raid a president's house and then not charge anything? Like, no. I'm telling you, charges are imminent. Or listen, either they charge Trump or that judge and that FBI director get fired. I'm telling you, it's one of the two. You cannot have a president of the United States, forget that it's Trump and he's just as shitty as he is. You cannot raid the house of a president and not charge him, especially if you found what you were looking for. You are either going to get fired or you are going to charge him. And that is the calculus that they're having.
I think when it's a president, bro. It's a president of the United States.
They wouldn't have raided his house, bro.
That's exactly what I mean. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that when they raided his house, they knew exactly what was going to be.
They knew for sure.
They knew where it was going to be.
Well, they had a whistleblower. They had a whistleblower that said exactly what was there. They must have and I'm telling you, listen.
But I think they
must have taken pictures and videos for them to believe that whistleblower, because there was no way that they were going to believe him or her if they didn't have 100% proof that they were going to walk through those doors and they were going to find it.
You remember Bad Boys 2, the movie Bad Boys 2? There's a part where they're trying to go after the big time drug dealer, and the chief tells him, "Are you fucking crazy?" He's like, "He sued us 100 times. He sued us for search warrants in the past." He goes, "You cannot go in there unless you have fucking concrete.
Yep.
You know exactly where it's at."
They knew for sure.
He's like, "You have to know there's a far or some shit like that, you know?" So it's like,
but see, this is okay, and this is the problem. Okay, so for everybody who is a Trumpy and who's flipping out about this, here's what you gotta realize. Okay. So the what's the chamber of the government that controls the records?
The government that the department that controls the records?
Presidential records. The National Archives.
Oh, yes.
The National Archives knew that these things were missing, so they go to Trump and they ask him, "Hey, I know you have these things, give them back to us," right? And this happened about 4 or 5 months ago, right? And it was a big news story. Trump had them, and then Trump handed something like 12, 15 boxes over the National Archives and said, "Here they are back." The National Archives goes through these boxes and realizes there's tons of documents missing. So they go back to the president. At that point, they go to the FBI. The FBI goes to the president and says, "Hey, they're saying that all this stuff is still missing and that you must have it because it's still missing." They go back and forth together. They're having real conversations. And so the FBI officially subpoenas them. They ask, this is an official subpoena from the president saying, "Give us back this stuff. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the National Archives." The president's lawyer certifies, and now the president's lawyer is in real trouble because the president's lawyer certifies that there are no more documents left. Trump says no more documents. The lawyer says there's no more documents left. We've given you everything. Okay. Now the FBI gets a tip that no, they're still here. They had to go in. They had to go back in and get those documents. And then for them to get that tip, you got to think, if you're the FBI, you may think you're being catfished. You're being lied to.
How many times don't they? I imagine.
Of course, and it's like the SWAT calls, right? I know they must have been thinking, like, dude, this is the president. Wear a video wire, record what you're telling us, because they must have been concerned that it was in there, and it was with the fucking padlock. Think about if you are a spy from a different country, Mar-a-Lago is where you want to go. Like, that's where you have shit. Like,
that's where they caught the Chinese. Remember, there's
they caught the Chinese girl. She's a businesswoman, and they caught her with she was a spy. Mm-hmm. So you better believe that all these other spies are going over there and trying to figure out how to get into this thing. Who knows if anybody's already got in there? So either way, the FBI was compelled. They got video. They must have got video proof. I'm telling you, that's going to come out. That's not in any news cycle. That's in anywhere. But I am telling you, they either got video or picture proof that they were in there, and that's what compelled them to go in there. And now he must be charged. I am telling you, he is going to be charged.
I don't think they'll put him in jail. I think they'll charge him so he won't get to run.
I don't know. Listen, bro. That part, I'm not smart. I can't tell you, but I will tell you, they are going to charge him with a felon, with 1 or 2 or 3 felonies.
As a Democrat, I don't think it'd be a good idea to send him to jail. I think it makes us look like a banana republic.
Yeah,
I think it makes us look bad.
But you know, I tell you, like, okay, I was telling you about stuff that I changed, right? And I'll tell you that arrogance that like the first principle of AA is the first law or rule is, and I said it before, and it was damn, I'm fucking this up. Admit that you're powerless over alcohol, and only God could restore you. And God, for them, is not like Jesus. It could be Buddha. It could be anything. It could be the universe. They don't care. Like, it's not like a religious organization. It just says somebody is more powerful than you, right? And it's a certain amount of humility, right? And that man lacks any humility. He could not just give over the records. He thought he was bigger than the FBI, bigger than the National Archives. That lack of humility got me in trouble in the past. That lack of humility got him in trouble. And he's got so many enablers. I can't imagine what it's like to be him. He had people dying for him, like people going to the FBI and fighting with the FBI and killing. 2 people have already died because of this guy. Just recently. Somebody died in front of the FBI and somebody died with something else happened recently, like right after that.
Did you see Comey on Netflix? It's about.
I want to see it.
It's it boring.
I look at other presidents like Obama. Forget about Obama, right? Don't think about anybody recent. Think about somebody past. John. Oh, I'm so happy you said that. You know what Kennedy was. In the library, his library, mm-hmm. Right? It's his actual Oval Office replica, right? And this is his plaque that he has on his desk. You know what that plaque says? It says, "Oh God, thy sea is so great and my boat is so small."
Keep him humble.
You, in that seat, it is so important that you stay humble.
You wield power. You
wield so much power. And, and look, I don't have that kind of power, right? But in my own professional, work, I yield a certain amount of influence. I have to remind myself, like, I don't care how many people compliment me. It's like, I'm a fucked up dude, bro. Like, I'm a fucking alcoholic. I ran from cops. I've done this stupid shit. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a human being just like everybody else, and I'm not that dope. I'm really not. And that's what that man lacks, and like principles like that are the things that, you have to learn.
Easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, you guys know how much I love Yeezy, but like, that's like poor guy. Like, that's certainly what he's missing. He needs a little bit of more of that. But
but because look,
but it's also what makes him,
It's also, he's also not wrong.
He's pretty amazing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, that's the hard part, is that he's also, and I also think that, like, with Trump, I think that he's willed, like, if you say things, you can will things into place, and like, he fucking willed himself into power.
He really did. So
So-
how do you tell them no?
So here's the interesting.
You know
part.
what? You know what I like? I'm going to tell you something I like about Trump. Okay, and I'll tell you that this is what makes him special, and I think that there is something that we could all learn from it. It is that man is incredibly adaptable, and I learned that on my own journey. Right, is to make the detour work. Like that man embodies that language. Make the detour work. Make the obstacle work to your advantage. You know what's funny? Every time, he had the biggest fundraising day after this whole thing happened.
After the January 6th?
After January 6th, he at that point he had raised the most amount of money after January 6th. After this FBI raid, raised a shit ton of money. Alex Jones, I don't know if you heard the news, but like he's getting millions of dollars.
Alex Jones is
donated directly, crypto anonymously donated to him. Millions and millions of dollars in crypto money donated to him.
Wait, crypto, like just people with Bitcoin and stuff like that?
Bitcoin, just unanimous. I mean, anonymously, I meant to say, I'm sorry. I'm dumb too. Anonymously donating money to him. See, that right there. See, that's different. When we fail, we run into a little ball and hide. When other people fail, they use it to advantage.
Well, I think that I've learned, like, it could be worse.
Yeah, but see, and that's okay, and that's better than going into a depressive state, right? But I'm talking about falling in love with the shittiness, falling in love.
These fools are like
falling in love with the unfairness. They fall in love with
when
the
you
unfairness.
can see it? You know where you see it with Alex Jones? In the courtroom, because they're like in the courtroom, the prosecutor is making his argument. And he's like, Alex Jones, you didn't kill those kids, did you? But you took the power away from the parents to mourn. And as like you watch any other court case, like you're the defendant, you're sitting there like trying to be emotionless to not show the jury, right? But Alex Jones is like sitting there and he's like shaking in his chair and he's like fucking nodding aggressively. At one point, the prosecutor gets scared. I sent you that where the prosecutor like stands back because of Alex Jones. I think what you're talking about is like finding the suck, embracing the suck.
Like it's like a military model, but like, and look, this is why, like,
it's why Compton rappers make it out.
It is why a lot of people that are in a shitty situation make it out. But where Trump is missing, it can't seem to get it right, and the reason that he didn't win the presidency, and the reason he's not winning right now, is because he doesn't fundamentally serve people. It's all about him. And see, look, forever I've served myself, like, and it's not about us, bro. Like the thing about like being more generous, it's what I learned? Like I learned about like being a good leader is like lighting the candle for people, dropping the ladder for people, helping somebody else. And that's not fundamentally who Trump is, like when you help somebody, they help you in something else. Like even if you're so much better than them at something, there's something that they have already figured out. And that's what Trump doesn't get. Trump is self-serving. And so he doesn't breed loyalty. He doesn't breed the kind of loyalty. He breeds, it's not loyalty what he's breeding. It's like devotion. But if you're close to his circle, if you get to see him work, those are the people that drop him. His supporters don't drop him. Bro, that's just one of many. His lawyer. I can go down the line of all the people that have dropped him. I
have a couple of the books.
Yeah, all the people that have dropped him. Bro, they dropped him because
John Bolton talks about him being a snake oil salesman and not having any idea what foreign policy is and how it works. But it's like, how did these people not fucking know this?
They did know it, but they wanted to help him so he doesn't, burn the place down. Like that was the calculus, is like, if we're there with him, then we can help influence what he does. And I understand that. I have, people in my world that I'm like, dude, if I wasn't there, fuck, they'd burn this shit down. But like, I'm there. And so I'm like a guardrail from them going off the fucking, off the reservation.
I wonder, Democrats will say that no, they would have. But I think if they would have had a Democrat that was just as bad as Trump on the other side, they would have jumped behind him as well.
If they had a Democrat just as bad as...
Yeah, like if it was a Democrat that was...
No, you don't... Listen, Democrats are the biggest weenies. Listen, Democrats are terrible. One person does anything even remotely bad, they're all about the cancel culture. They help get rid of them. They don't have any backbone. Republicans have all backbone. And look, I don't know if Biden's going to run again, right? I hope he doesn't. I really don't. Like, I think I'm done with... Listen, I think he's had a hell of a last 2-3 months, and that'll cement his legacy as a not so shitty president, and I'm glad for that. But I think Kamala, I think the camel will never run for any office again. I think she's politically toxic. I think she's the worst vice president.
I don't understand what the fuck she's done that's so bad.
Nothing. She doesn't.
What vice president has done anything?
Joe was Obama's right-hand man. Obama made no decision without Joe. Joe helped him. You could just tell, bro. They loved each other, dude. Like, I think Joe was a terrific vice president. And Kamala, she's so pushy with her fucking ideas that Joe's just shut her out. And even Joe won't even talk about her. She just doesn't exist, bro. It's like she doesn't exist. She's a terrible number 2. She wanted the top spot and she hates being number 2.
I just don't think vice president is a real job.
Doesn't matter if you think it or not. It doesn't matter. She's there to back him up, and she doesn't.
She's done her part as breaking the votes.
It's like she thinks that because he's toxic, that's just her fucking job. But she thinks because he's toxic, she's not going out there and defending him. She's just staying out. You know why? Because she's fucking selfish. She wants to fucking protect her legacy.
I don't think so. Protect what legacy of putting people in jail for pot? There's no legacy
either that she was a vice president, right? That was it. That's it. She had that role, and that's it. And that's what she's calculating will allow her to run for president one day. But I'm telling you, we will never ever elect that woman president of the United States. That woman is done after this.
Trump.
She is absolutely. As a matter of fact, I don't want a Democrat to win after this. If Joe Biden doesn't win, who runs? Who runs for office? Who are you going for?
Pete Buttigieg.
I like Pete.
I would vote for Pete. I think I personally would like Gavin Newsom, but I don't think the country.
Second Amendment killer. There's no way. He's too harsh on guns. Nope.
I don't even think it's that. I think him being so close to San Francisco, it's really what hurts him.
So you good if you're close to San Francisco, but he's just like
he's related to Pelosi.
He's just the freaking gun. Like, oh man, I hate his stance on even crime. Like, it's just so soft.
I don't understand how the country can be mad when he's done such a great job with California. We're in a surplus.
He actually has done a really good job. But you can't.
I feel like you got to take your personal fucking feelings out of it and then evaluate the job.
I like him. Yeah. I think he's done a great job. But I just don't want anybody restricting. And I don't want any restrictions on the Second Amendment.
Not enough dead kids.
I think that's a lot of dead kids, but I think his position is a little too strong.
Which is take away automatic rifles?
Yeah,
I think that's too strong.
Yes, I think you should. What
do you want automatic rifles for?
To defend myself against tyranny.
What tyranny?
Imagine.
In case.
Listen. Imagine Trump would have won, and Trump would have won, or Trump would have lost.
You're gonna fight the military. You're gonna fight the army.
No. Maybe.
And you think you're going to win with the AR-15 when they have tanks?
It's not just me.
And fucking bombs?
It's not just me.
It's you and a bunch of other untrained people.
Maybe. But there's a lot more of us than there are of them.
Yeah. They have a lot more bullets and a lot more guns and a lot of fucking tanks and choppers and planes. It'd be very hard. It's ridiculous.
It'd be very hard to control.
No, it would not.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
You guys, that argument is so ridiculous because yes, it was written that way to fight tyranny when you were fucking using muskets. Dick.
Yeah, but here's the deal. The same is true today, bro. Like there are still governments toppling their people and taking over, unpopular.
Name me one that's been a first world country. Name me one that it hasn't happened in China or Russia or any of the world powers.
Right now, what's happening in China? Look what's happening in China. The banks are going broke and they're suppressing them and they're telling them, sorry, bro, you fucking lost that money. And that's it. And it's over. That would never happen in the United States. We'd fucking rise up and fucking shoot those bankers. I would never do such a thing. But people would rise up and shoot those bankers dead in the fucking face and the politicians that backed them up.
Bullshit. That's not true.
Bro, people are going out.
Because January 6th was so successful?
People are going out. I know, but it was a stupid cause. People are going out and dying right now for fucking Trump for saying that they rated him in the wrong way. Listen, whether it happens or not, it's our right. It's our right, and I think it's healthy for our country.
How is it 19 kids? Again, healthy for the country.
No. What I think should happen is
there are more guns in this country.
I think there should be restrictions on who is able to buy a gun. Right? Like I don't think an 18-year-old should be able to wield.
Who should be able to wield a gun that shoots 300 rounds per second?
I think. That's not true.
Okay,
300 rounds per second.
There's not a machine gun shoots 300 rounds.
You're dumb.
I play. You know how many video games I fucking play?
300 rounds a second.
An MG42 with a drum fucking clip will shoot off 300 rounds per minute. I'm sorry, per minute.
You said a sec.
My bad. Per minute.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. What the fuck do you need that for?
Okay, so we already talked about that, and you disagree, and that's fine. But here's
Americans don't buy guns like the guys who have 150 guns in their house. That's not for protection, bro. That's not for protection against tyranny. The guys who have AK-47s and AR-15s.
What are they doing then? What are they doing?
Banana clips.
What are they doing? Okay, then what are they doing? What is it for?
Unhealthy paranoia, because their dick is too small.
See, you're so.
At least the unhealthy paranoia is true.
Listen.
There isn't a such thing as making it up for. Why do guys?
Now you're getting into psychology.
Okay, so then explain to me why you need 150 fucking guns.
Honestly, that's an extreme exaggeration of like what the
25 guns
of like what an average American has in their home.
10 guns,
right? Like, okay, cool.
There are more. There are 300. There's 300 something million Americans in the country. There's more guns than there are Americans. Okay,
so
why do we need more than 300?
Okay, because you need a shotgun for skeet shooting, skeet. And then you need, a couple different handguns for different things that like somebody breaks into your house. I want to be able to.
That's what the shotgun's for, because a pistol is very inaccurate. You have
That's not true.
It is. It's the shotgun sprays for self-defense. A shotgun is much better than a pistol. That's 100% true.
Doesn't matter, but it's my choice of what kind of gun I want to have in my house.
Okay.
And I want to have pistols and I want to have shotguns. And I'm going to have a couple of different ones. I want nines, I want 45s.
Pistol.
I want nines and 45s. And we had the riots, right? Not that long ago, right? Where people were breaking into downtown places and they were saying they were coming into cities. I live in Diamond Bar.
Nobody came in the houses.
I know they didn't, but this
is a false argument.
But they were threatening to do it. And if somebody comes into my house, I want to be able to defend myself. And if I want to have
paranoia,
if I want to have, call it paranoia. I don't care. You want to be offensive? I don't care. But like I'm not paranoid. But I want to have an AK-40 or AK-47 at the top of my fucking house and shooting down these playing target practice with these motherfuckers that are trying to come in my house. And if nobody comes in my house, great. I have a badass AK-47 in my fucking house. And that shit is fucking hard, bro.
I guess if that's more important to you than 19 kids dying. That shit's
fun. No, but again, look at the people that are shooting these kids. They're fucking 18 years old. A couple of them were 18 years
Americans.
old.
They're Americans.
They're a couple 18 years old. I think
they're Americans with the Second Amendment. That's what they were.
I think you should make it 21 years or old or over. And I think that you should They should go through psychological training. I think they should have
Harold was the guy who shot up the Florida club.
A really badass background check, and I think a psychological evaluation. And I think you should have like a social media check to make sure you're not fucking crazy or doing some weird shit. And like references, like, you know, like people around you got to know, like, hey, this motherfucker really isn't crazy. He's just a real good dude. You know, he's a great guy. I think he should have a gun.
You can't kill a baby while it's in the womb, but you can kill him when he gets out.
Well, I don't believe that. Like, I'm not, you know.
That's what the guns are. That's what that's what ARs are doing right now. ARs are killing more kids than bad guys right now.
Bad guys, more kids than bad guys. I don't know if that statistic is accurate, but if it is.
Do you think the guns killed 19 more bad guys than they did 19 kids that day?
19 more bad guys
in the time span that it happened?
That. Do you know that for a fact? Is this like a fact, or is this like a liberal fact that you're spitting out?
No, you can't call it liberal fact because you don't agree with it. That's not true. That's not fair. You can't.
Is this a Trump fact?
No, it's not. It doesn't have. See, that's why the country's so divided right now, because of people who do that shit, where it's like it's either liberal, conservative, and you can't be just a sense.
But you know what's also wrong?
Sensical.
You know what's also. I'm definitely not sensitive.
Because I'm
but
not
the second thing is listen.
No, sensical. I said.
Oh. Okay, so then are you also the type? Okay, you know what else is the problem too? Everybody making up their own facts. You just made some shit up right now.
No, I did not. I did not.
Do you know that for a fact? Is that really true? There are more kids dying.
No, I did not say that. I said, do you think that 19 bad guys in the time span that they killed those 19 kids, you think 19 bad guys got killed?
Oh, 1,000%.
Ah, man. All right.
Bro, I just saw some shit. Like, you
saw one 22-year-old guy kill one guy.
Pew, 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 pew.
It's a joke to you. To me, it's not a joke. To me, I was legitimately afraid of sending my kids to school. And to me, like that Twitter feed, I've told you this when we were talking on the phone.
You're paranoid.
I feel bad. I follow I still send my kids to school because I still send them to school. They got to go to school. No. I feel bad that we live in a country that's supposed to be leaders of the free world, and we can't protect our kids. We can't protect our future. It's sad.
I think we should protect our future and our kids.
No, I don't think so.
I do. I just think you should do it different ways.
I think you're putting the Second Amendment above protecting the future.
You need to put like a cop in every, like arm them up.
What other country has that in their schools?
Doesn't matter. It does. We do.
Wow, I guess. I mean, that's not planning.
So, anyways, so should it be Gavin Newsom for that reason? Number two, and there's a couple more, but he, maybe listen. I don't know if I'd be like super opposed to him because I really do think he's a good governor. I think he's a really good governor.
He won't win because of all the bullshit they'll bring up about being related to Nancy Pelosi. Yep.
And then the second thing is. And the second, I also think like we need a good Republican. I think if Liz Cheney ran, I would back her more than I would back. It's a hard decision between her.
You should never make it out of the primaries.
Well, that's in a she's about to lose right in West Virginia, but I think she has a real shot nationally. Nationally is a whole different story.
I think you're counting out the MAGA base and DeSantis in Florida.
I agree. I think DeSantis will probably win.
And DeSantis is a MAGA fucking champion.
He is. I think he'll be the front runner, and I think he will win the Republican nomination.
If Trump doesn't.
No, Trump's not gonna. I'm telling you, it's over for Trump. It's over. I know you didn't believe me last time when we were talking about him, but it's over. It is over for Trump. Listen,
that's what I thought when they launched a special investigator.
I understand. I totally understand. I've been there too. My heart has been broken before too. But I will tell you, we're only a year and a half. Charges are imminent. You're only a year and a half into the, since the end of his presidency. And we still have 2.5 years before, the next presidency. We will disqualify. Well, I don't want to say we, because I would say that he will be disqualified to run for office before the end of the next
Raul
term.
Just admitted to being in the Illuminati. You guys heard it here. He's been talking all this shit. He's the one taking your guns away, boys.
I am the deep state, bitches.
It's not me.
Yep. So
there's that. And how far are we in right now?
Jesse,
hour and a half.
why are you sweating so much?
It's so hot in here, dude. I thought I turned on the AC and I thought I felt it, but I think because they left, the other people that were in here, I think they remember last time they left and they turned off the AC.
They did.
I was like, dicks. I think they did that again. But I'm not willing to get up and go check. Trump's running. Listen, I know this is something that you don't care about, but I'm sure there are people who out there listening that care about. So Grand Theft Auto, right? It's the most selling media ever. Like it's sold more than movies. It's sold more than music. You didn't believe me on this fact. You sent me a whole fucking thing arguing that Fortnite sold more than GTA, and it didn't. But
Jesse, I wish the cameras was on. He did a little finger thing, like very.
Raul doesn't like being
flamboyant
wrong. And he was wrong that day because he was
I'm not being wrong.
He was champion Fortnite that night.
I'm unoffended by my wrong.
So that game's coming back. They're making a new game, and the reason a reason I brought it up is because they've promised to. A lot of people are thinking that it's because of wokeism or whatever. They promised to tone it down, and this was
here we go.
This is a game that was like traditionally. It was like South Park. Like they make fun of politics and all these things. Like they started removing, like they had transgender jokes in the game. Like it was a superhero that was a transgender, and it was funny because it was like a female superhero who was like in the game. Like it's she's a comic book character, but like they're empowering her, but she has a bulge. And they removed that, so because they want to be less offensive. And now it's a female protagonist, and
of course,
and so there's a lot of like backlash and see how that's going to work out. See if it's going to be the same.
I hate people. I hate you all. You guys are what's wrong with
ruined everything.
You're wrong with America. You're wrong with human beings. I just can't take it. You know what I read today? I think it's Forbes put this out. Let me pull this up because it was good.
What, Pete Davidson broke up with Kim?
No. Dream jobs are dead. Quiet quitting is a TikTok trend, encouraging employees to, what does it say?
Your Pornhub came up?
No, to take it easy at work, right? You ever heard of that quiet quitting thing?
Quiet quitting, no.
Yeah, so it's like do as little as you can at work.
To get fired?
To get fired so you can get unemployment and listen.
I believe that.
Yeah. I've been in this business for a long time. Entrepreneur Magazine put that out. And I just see that. Listen, I don't know what to say about like not having the balls, like, or the motivation or the drive to just quit and go do something that you love. Go do something that you like.
There was this employee.
Like, how fucking loser of you.
There was this employee who they wanted to fire, but I was like, if we fire them, we got to pay them unemployment, you know? So I go into a lunchroom and now I'm like, hey, bro. I was like, fuck this place, bro. Like, you deserve so much better, bro. Like you're so much fun, man. If I was you, I'd go in that fucking, I'd quit on them. Like, fuck you guys. And he was like, yeah, huh, bro, for real, huh? He was like, I thought I was gonna get fired, and I was like, before they fire you, bro, I'd go in there and be like, you can't fucking fire me because I quit. And
that makes me very happy that you did that.
And he quit.
Although I don't give a shit about the unemployment, I'll pay them the fucking unemployment. If you're not engaged, if you're not fired up, if you don't want to be here, I will gladly put you out of your misery. I will fucking fire you. If I have anybody quiet quit on me, But
I put that also. I put that on, not the quiet quitting part. I put a lot of it on leadership. Like
there are a lot of shitty leaders. You're right.
Like and also hiring. Like if you're hiring somebody who's not bought in,
you're right.
You're hiring the wrong way. And also, if your guys lose motivation and they want to quiet quit on you, you're doing something wrong. You're not inspiring. But then also at the same time, with all that being said,
if you have I've had shitty bosses. I've had shitty bosses too. So you know what I do? I fucking leave.
The stimulus package, I think, ruined a lot of people. I think it ruined any chance for universal basic income, because there was an argument for universal basic income at one point that if you gave people money monthly, that they would use that money to start businesses.
Yeah, right.
And now I think after the stimulus packages, we've discovered that
lazy shits ruined it for good. I'm glad you did. Glad you ruined it for
if
yourself.
you give people money, they'll figure out how to live off just that fucking money. Do you know that I have? You want me to tell you something that happened personally? I had an employee. We just let him go, but we had an employee. Hired them first like 3 days catches COVID. Okay, so California law, you got to pay him for a week. So he gets paid a week, comes back, and then it calls out like the second day back and is like, oh, I feel sick. And then asks over the phone, hey, what if I get COVID again? Do I get another week paid, or is that one not just in case I get COVID? Like, the fuck? You know, like, I don't understand, but again, I blame the stimulus. I blame the COVID pay. Although I was like a champion,
I blame people.
I was fighting for that. I was like, dude, you shouldn't not be able to pay your rent because you get sick. Oh. But it's the same argument I make for welfare. Oh. Listen, no, fuck that. I don't feel bad. I don't take back my argument. I say that for every 8 people you help, there's going to be 2 bad ones. It is what it is.
That's true. You know what? I actually agree with, very wholeheartedly agree with that.
It's like welfare.
There's always that welfare queens with the Cadillacs and.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I wish I could qualify for welfare. I fucking applied. I'm not gonna even fucking lie to you. I was all happy because they send you a letter. Even if they deny you, they send you a letter saying like, congratulations, CalFresh, And I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I'm about to be at fucking, does Costco take EBT? I know Sam's does. But anyways, so I was like, hell yeah. So I open up the letter and it says, congratulations, you qualified for 0.00. I was like, fuck.
You thought you were going to become a Costco member.
I thought I was going to come up. I really did.
You were like, I can finally go to Costco. I can only buy food, but I can finally go to Costco.
What else do you go? Oh, yeah. You shop for clothes there.
Bro, I literally buy everything at Costco.
You became a dad, like a fucking
I legitimately
Costco
buy
dad.
Everything at Costco, bro. Like everything. Detergent, like everything.
This motherfucker rocks Costco shorts with Yeezys.
I do. You know what's funny? The only thing that I buy, that I wear that is not Costco are the shoes. The socks, because they don't have Nike socks, and I only wear Nikes.
You only wear Nike socks?
I only 100% only wear.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
They're like the best socks. They're the best.
What makes them different?
They're well made. They last forever and ever and ever and ever. Like bro, if you buy a pair of Nike socks, like if you will light them, like I wear a lot of black socks. They never fall apart. They're like indestructible socks, bro.
I stopped wearing Nike socks because one time I wore Nike socks with shorts and chucks, and Fabio was like, "You fucking chunty ass fools from LA would wear Nike socks with Chuck Taylors."
Well, yeah, you wear a lot of Chuck Taylors, but so and then I'll get shirts from other places. But I do have a lot of Costco shirts. But there's just not enough to buy. So like I'll buy shirts from other places. But besides that, everything. And hats, Besides that, everything is Costco.
Hats? Like starter caps?
Pants, shorts, swim shorts, like jackets, all from Costco. They're the best shit. I just ordered a bunch of new. I ordered like 2 sweaters and 1 jacket from Costco online because they're on sale.
Dork,
I wait for them to go on sale and then I buy them. Bro, I'm going to tell you something, bro. You may call me a dork. I don't even give a shit. I'm going to tell you something. I save so much money and I look fresh as shit. Like saving.
This fucking guy. I look fresh as shit.
I did, bro. I look fresh as Costco. I don't give a fuck, man. I really don't care.
I look fresh as shit. Let me tell you guys something. This fool's rolled up to me looking fresh as shit. Fool's got like sandals on. It's like cargo shorts.
That sounds pretty fresh. Listen, I do not wear cargo shorts. I don't own a pair of cargo shorts, period. There's not one cargo short.
What color were your shorts?
Or cargo like orange, pants, no? Or cargo pants. I do not wear shorts, cargo, anything. There's no cargo.
There's no cargo pockets in your shorts.
On the side? No, not one. Not
Take
one.
A picture.
There's not one. I don't have those.
I have cargo pockets right now on my cholo shorts.
I'm sure you do, but I don't wear cargos. I do have one pair of like hiking pants that have cargo kind of material, and they have like a little zipper to turn into shorts. That's as dorky as I get.
You're like, all I wear is Nike socks. And I thought I upgraded because I went from like Walmart to Target socks.
I'm sure you really thought.
I was like, you know what socks I wear? Whatever my wife buys me. You know what socks I wear? The ones Raul buys me.
The one Raul hands down to me. The Nike socks that...
Ew, that's gross. Let's not tell people you hand down socks to me. That's not true. I meant like he bought me socks. He sent me pictures of socks that he bought me.
Whenever I go to the alleys, I'll buy like socks just for you because I know that those are your kind. Those are your people down there.
I love the alleys, actually. You know what's fucked up is that I was thinking right now, like, where do I shop? If I don't shop at, like, where do I buy clothes? And I was like, should I say on air that it's like the alleys or swap meet? Like, it's like Santa Fe Springs or the alleys.
JJ lives approximately 15 minutes from the Santa Fe Springs swap.
Let me tell you what happened to me last time I went to the Santa Fe Springs swap meet. Okay.
You got a beer.
We went.
And you were listening to Firme Oldies.
Ramon Ayala was there, actually.
Ramon Ayala.
We went and I bump into our good friend Edward, right? Dreamer. And he...
Firme Dreamer. I love Dreamer.
He's the shit.
He's so fucking dope.
You know, on the way out of Santa Fe Springs swap meet, there's like it's a hill. It goes.
Your car got stuck.
No. So I pull over there because I see Ed. And he's got some beer. And no, I'm lying. He's got some weed. Full disclosure. But there are people in the Santa Fe Springs parking lot, like little Mexicans walking around with coolers, and they're just selling beers in the parking lot.
That's brilliant.
That's what they do. So I get off to talk to Ed, and then the people come over. My girl's there, my sister-in-law. So he buys beers for all of us. Some one guy comes up, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, you know, can I like hang out here? We're like fucking free country, bro. Like whatever. And then somebody else pulls up and they know Ed. Somebody else pulls up, they know me. Before we know it, bro, it's like a circle of cars on the way up to the thing, just off to the left. And it's like a full on kick it session. Like there's like 3 vendors with selling beers there. Like we sold out the beers. The security ended up like later after they had to come up and tell us like, bro, like what the fuck are you guys doing? Like get the fuck out of here. But it was
a party.
It was fucking great. And it was totally worth wearing the uniforms. Like Edward was wearing Raiders jerseys. I was in like Cowboys jersey. And that's all like, it was epic. Santa Fe Springs is always a ball. It's good times.
Yeah. So I was at a Costco and we were leaving and these people were so nice to me.
And the food's better than Costco.
I held the parking for him and he was like super grateful and he it was great.
I watched people get stabbed at Santa Fe Springs.
No, I definitely not. I've never, I've made new friends at Costco, but definitely never.
Don't act like Santa Fe Springs is not.
I love Santa Fe Springs. I love the ratchet.
One time I went there and it's
like a little. Like I need it like once a year to help me remember. Like I'm.
Raul, I'm gonna tell you guys something because I have.
You know what I wanted? Did I? We didn't do it this year, but I promise you, I'm gonna do it next year.
What?
This year, actually, we didn't do it last year, but I'm gonna do it this year. I'm dressing up for Halloween as a
Cholo.
Yep.
Dude, why? You're gonna get shot.
And I'm buying all my fucking clothes. I'm going to go to Santa Fe Springs swap me and I'm going to get all choloed out.
Raul talks
I want to remember. I just want to remind myself, Faye, where I came from, my rule thing.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm going to kick it with my hyena. She's my firme chola.
Your chick is a pretty firme chola. I like Mo. She's cool. She's mean.
She's not like me, Think I'm all good for Diamond Murray.
Nah.
I don't. I really.
Nah, you don't. All my friends like that. Like the feedback that I've gotten is like, "What's up with your boy like shitting on the hood?" And I'm like, he doesn't. He just says all. He just talks all that shit.
Yeah,
but he really just loves.
I really do love
like this what you guys don't know about Raw is like he's at Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet too, and I've gone to Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet and acted incorrectly, and this motherfucker let me have it at Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet. Like, you come over here fucking accurate. Do you remember that time?
The last time when
yes.
Yeah,
I got yelled at.
Yep.
Like a big brother was just fucking letting me have
What's
it.
wrong? You fucking is backwards sometimes, bro. But like I do, like when I go to Santa Fe Springs, I'll load up, bro.
You know what I bought at Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet?
Dude, they have so much good shit.
They have a lot of good shit.
They have so much good shit.
The food's good too.
The food's bomb.
And it's only like $1 to get in.
And my wife loves the drinks and like, dude, this is such a great place. We should go.
We should go.
We should have a Feedman podcast at the Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet.
That would be fucking
Reporting live
amazing.
from Santa Fe
We
Springs.
probably could do it at the tables too.
It'd be loud.
That's true. We could probably get something to isolate that. We should go do something though, huh? Like at an event, like record the podcast somewhere.
You guys should tell us where you want us to go.
Yep. Oh, also, guys, please rate us on Spotify.
Oh yeah, that's a good
and
idea.
Apple Podcasts. So
we can get more than 164 followers.
Yep. And then, listeners, let us know. Send me an email. There's an email that's jaytalkraw@gmail.com. I'm just trying to find out if you guys wouldn't mind commercials or we should open up a Patreon. We're not asking for money, but it's fucking hot. It'd be nice to buy a fan. But we're really trying to I'm trying to get some money to buy like better equipment.
Why is Raw so cheap, eh?
I know Raw's got all this fucking talking all kinds of shit about spending money and shit. This fool's on literally came to Downey and jumped on OfferUp to see what the fuck he can buy.
I bought a new snowboard today. rolled up with the new snowboard.
You know what's funny is Andrew was like, he goes, damn, bro. He's like, I see you like making changes. He's like, you're about to be paddleboarding with Raw. I was like, motherfucker, I'll drown.
I legit bought a snowboard today, and I bought an extra pair of shoes just in case this fat lazy fuck
You scared the fuck out of me about
decides
it, though.
to go up with me.
I was down. I'll tell you the two things that scare me.
What? You're just scared of everything, though, bro.
No.
You're a scary guy. Like you like a scary motherfucker.
Which fuck
You
PTSD, dog. Like what?
Of what? Of what? What has happened to you?
I lived on the corner
you pulled
of
your hamstring?
61st and Otis.
You never did a thing on that block,
because
bro.
I ran. Because I was careful. How do you think you survived, motherfucker? By being scared? No, I'll tell you what the two things that
You weren't
I'm
careful
afraid.
when I blew up your car's engine.
Fuck you, dog. Damn. You know how many people asked me about that? Like, did you really set your car on fire? I was like, yeah, dog, you set my car on fire. Listen, heights, the ride up, what do you call that? The little thing,
gondola.
The thing you sit on,
the
you
gondola,
put between your legs, and it gets you up there.
And what? What about it?
Scares. I'm afraid of heights. So I'm afraid. Is that scary?
Bro, you can't. How do you live?
I've never been there, Dick.
Bro,
I don't know what it's like.
You're afraid of the gondola. You're afraid of heights.
I've never been there.
You're afraid of water. Like how you live like a terrible life, bro. Like you live.
Nobody swims in like the. I was saying nobody swims in the hood, but it's like I can't swim in the ocean, dog. Like that's scary. I'm saying
you don't even swim in your pool. You don't even swim in your pool.
That's true.
Why? You go swim with your son in your pool.
Nah, fuck you. I was there on Friday with my kids.
You going in there?
I got in there with Julian.
Don't your kids do their thing?
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny too because he was all.
Were you and him holding onto the rail the whole time?
Fuck you. Listen, I'm in there and I'm holding. He's all scared and he's all scared. And I go, I got you. You feel my arm? You feel my arm right here? I was like, it's gone. He's all That's how they learn.
That makes me sad.
Why?
He's holding onto the rail the whole time because you're not in there with him.
The rail. I said he's holding
you're in there with him though. You're not in there with him,
bro. Actually, no. My kids know how to swim. I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Bro, they go to my mom's.
He doesn't know how to swim.
I bullshit you not. He'll dive into your pool. Take him with you. Throw his ass in there. I bet
you're invited to my house. I want to see him swim.
Yeah, we should go to my mom's and use my mom's house.
Your mom lives in fucking
Timbuktu, but you're always up there in the fucking mountains. So, anyways, guys, you have anything else interesting to bring up?
If I see a fan at Costco on sale, I'll get it. Otherwise, if I'm not,
you know what? We don't need a fan. You know what we need is we need a bigger mixer so we can have more guests sweating in here with us. So that's the goal. Again, if you guys want to, I'll put the Patreon on this description for this. If you guys want to send us a couple bucks so we can buy another
you guys are so
Focusrite mixer.
You know what? I'll match anything that we get sent.
Nice.
Up to $200.
Fuck, you fucking caught that shit out.
I was like, shit.
I was going to hit somebody up and be like, listen, dog, I know how deep Raul's pockets are.
I don't have deep pockets, but I'll match up to.
Can you tax write off? Can't you tax write off if you send me some money?
Yeah. But still, I still have to pay it. But anyways, I'll match up to $200.
All right, guys, you heard it. You heard it there. Let's juice Raw. See you guys later. Raw, thank you for coming. See you next season.
See you later.